welcome to the second review of the evening. As previously mentioned, Galax is doing the review here and now with Fantasy Kommander, Fascination of Evil. Command armies of knights, orcs, and dragons in epic battles, conquer lands, collect items, and lead Marcus III to victory in this strategic turn-based RPG set in a world of fantasy warfare. Right, so Galax, tell us all about this relic from 2009.
I was gonna say, this game is, the Steam page is freely open about the fact that this is from 2009, from a small independent team. It is a Flash game that was originally playable on a web portal, and it shows. It does have saves, which you could do with that because of cache, but it opens in a very small window, and even if you enlarge it, the scrolling parts of the thing stay in the same place. Also, on the when you move that, it's doing weird things, Petty. There's a black column between the G and M on the Fragments of Silicon on the stream. It opens with a strong suggestion that you read a tutorial with a link to a page that no longer exists. The page for the company that made the game, which is what that is, still exists and does have some documentation, but it's all about the newer game in the series, which I don't know how much newer is. That's still an old game. So yeah, those bars that appear near the end of the window, edge of the window, when you scroll over them, those are how you scroll. And you need to click on a guy and then click on one of the white areas on the white spaces on the map, because that's how you deploy your guys. You need to go left and up some. Your character, yeah. So ultimately, this is so it has a lot of limitations. The graphics are... I'll say the first thing they made me think of was like Final Fantasy Tactics, but if you removed all of the art style. It's 2D, but it's kind of clunky. You get a number of units. Each one of these units allegedly represents an army, which only matters because after your battles, you get told that X number of guys in such and such a unit have died, which is like part of their hit points, I guess. And you have different kinds of guys. You got guys with bows who can shoot a distance. You got guys with spears who can walk and stab with their spears. You got an overpowered commander guy, and you got guys with shields that can't move very fast, but like I think they literally move one square usually, but they do a lot more damage and don't take as much damage in return. Facing matters slightly. You take more damage from behind, it seemed like. Again, there's no actual manual for this game. It has a character select screen, but you can only play as one guy. I got about 3/4 of the way through the second map. Just so we know about how my progress, and accidentally closed it when I was going to talk to the guys on Discord, and realized I hadn't saved since before the first map, so I didn't have time or energy to replay a map and a half because this is not fast. You do also, like a lot of the strategy games, have to manually end turn. There's a look at unit strengths and terrain strengths option that has so many details, but I don't know what they all add up to. It feels like they really were trying to come up with a fairly detailed game here, but just didn't have maybe didn't have the resources to make it all come through clearly, and also it's a Flash game, so it's all very limited to how you control it and how much screen space you actually have and stuff like that. It does also have an in-game option to change the zoom out to 1 times or into 4 times, with the default being 2 times. Those are the tiny little dots at the bottom left, next to the face of whatever unit you have selected. Everything has a tooltip if you roll over it, pretty much, but otherwise, So yeah, and then in between battles, you can buy new armies and stuff, and then progress to a new thing. There's story that comes up in your things between missions, but oh, and it's not always just a route like the second one, and there seems to be a bonus condition that I think you might just get extra resources for. Like in the second one, you need to dominate 4 positions to win and not just kill all the guys, although there are enemies on all of the 4 positions, so it's not like you can take them without killing most of the enemies. But yeah, that's, I don't know. It feels incomplete and like a fairly basic strategy RPG from like 2009, but like it could be a lot worse than that. It seems functional, at least. I just really wish it wasn't literally a Flash game. Like, the best thing for this would be to have a better way to scroll the view and zoom in and out, I think. And the second best thing would be to have some kind of combat forecast so you know what's happening in a fight, aside from the guy hits and does damage and the other guy hits and does bad. Like, I don't know if there's any kind of like unit advantage or anything in this, aside from I guess they do have like effectiveness versus some things listed, but it's not presented in a very well digestible way, and again, it opens up very small by default. Like, this was designed on a 420 by 640 or whatever monitor to take up less than half of it. But so yeah, I have to keep in mind the limitations of what they were working with, and for that it seems pretty solid, just incomplete. But in terms of the grand universe of strategy RPGs, there are complete ones with better graphics and all that stuff, so the competition is a little stiff. Also, it does not have much in the way of options as a Flash game. It pretty much has music on-off and sound on-off. So that's not much. And yeah, that's the main thing. However, I don't have to ask Adam the price of this, because I looked at it on the store earlier when I was trying to figure out what the heck the deal with the game was, and it's $3. And for $3, I guess it's fine. Like, I don't think it's a waste of $3 exactly. Just don't expect, like, a ton more than you're paying for. And like I said, there is another game in the series, and that game in the series might be more detailed, but I'm not reviewing that one, so do your own research and decide if you want something else instead. I guess, if you're really interested in kind of slightly archaic strategy RPGs. Did you guys have any questions?
Not really.
Okay. Yeah, the terminology on the Steam store page refers to this as, and I quote, an artifact originally developed in 2009. So they know that this is limited. And if you keep that in mind, it's not that bad. So I think that's what I got
Right.
to say.
All right. So that'll about do it for Fantasy Kommander, Fascination of Evil. Be sure to tune in after the break as we review The Voidness, mid-air horror survival game.